I wanted to make a quick response to some of the things Omnia has claimed about me recently. I was originally going to do this privately in a call with Omnia, but I feel it's best that I respond to claims they made publicly with a public response. To give you some context, Omnia recently released 5 videos where they discuss allegations and a court case surrounding Kai Weiss and domestic abuse. Within said videos, they attempt to debunk a lot of the claims Kai Weiss made about them while Omnia wasn't posting anything publicly, and respond to generally more of the wider sphere of commentary surrounding the allegations. However, in the final part of this series, Omnia decides to go scorched earth and attack every single person they have some minor issue with, who they've been in some form involved with in the past. I'm not going to respond to claims they made against other people. If you want to see their side, you can go check it out. They've been arguing with Omnia on Twitter all day. But I'm going to respond to the things Omnia said about me, because I think they're a vile misrepresentation of my character and incredibly disingenuous. But before any of that, imagine this. You just got the notification that HarleyTBS is uploaded, and you're sat in your room wondering, I wonder who sponsored this video. The answer is obviously the GOATs at Raid Shadow Legends. And because I love them and know you will as well, I think I should tell you some more about them. Across the past 4 years, Raid has taken over, offering over 700 unique champions, each with their own skills and abilities. The perfect faction for you, with them boasting 15 separate factions, all of which can be seen on screen. 12 separate dungeons for you to be devoured by, offering 3 exciting PvP modes, including a real-time live arena. Regular content updates offering new modes and new champions so that you never get bored. Plus, you can play Raid on both your mobile phone and your desktop. And an almost infinite amount of customization. Why not join the over 400 million players across 190 countries who love and play Raid? Oh, and because I'm sympathetic for those of you who've been living under a rock, I think I should tell you about Raid Call of the Arbiter. Their limited series, which you can watch in-game or on their YouTube channel to keep up with the news story. There is a bunch of brand new content in Raid Shadow Legends related to Call of the Arbiter right now, including a free legendary champion, the mighty Orc Warlord, Artak. All you have to do to get him is log into Raid for 7 days between now and July the 24th. Easy. With all of this exciting content and more coming to Raid, what do you have to lose by giving it a go? Use my link in the description or scan my QR code to get insane bonuses in-game, including the epic champion Talia and many other useful items. And once you're in-game, come find me under the name HarleyTBS, and if you're fast enough, you can join my clan. Click the link in the description right now, and I'll see you on the battlefield.
Maybe don't ask for a convicted abuser's side in their public stream, HarleyTBS.
Allegations of this severity should be treated with the seriousness they deserve. I believe fact-checking all information is important, and when I saw that Omnia made a live stream and it was unlisted before I could check it out, I went to the second best source. I went to Kai's stream responding to their live stream and tried to understand what had occurred. Unfortunately, that wasn't very successful. As you can see within my comment in this live chat, I said that I'm not making any kind of statement on this situation. Because personally, I do not think I should have any kind of involvement with a legal situation like this, nor does this situation involve me in any capacity. My only intent was to gather more information about this situation for my own personal understanding, and as you can see in this live chat if you actually did your research, I wasn't on Kai's side. I've never been on Kai's side, and Omnia knows as much. Generally, I think it's pretty apparent to anyone watching this video that this is not a valid criticism of myself, nor is it something that anyone is really going to be disappointed in me for doing. I believe that you should always verify information when allegations are levied against someone of such a severe nature, and my conversation with Kai in DMs post this livestream was literally just telling him that my stalker was in his live chat and that he should probably ban them. Cutting the context surrounding my comments in this live chat to frame me in a particular way that suits your narrative is disingenuous, Omnia. I expect better. And as SpyV highlighted on a comment on my last tweet, we were in a call, Zio, others, and I, watching this Kai livestream and basically taking the piss out of it. I'm gonna be so honest with you. So to see this span the way it is publicly is jarring.
Every single one of you creators publicly associating with him, getting into his streams, asking for his Discord, getting in calls with him, doing the absolute most. Where was this same energy for me? Why didn't any of y'all ask for my side? Why didn't any of y'all extend a hand towards me when the going got tough?
This is one of the most shocking mischaracterizations Omnia makes within this entire video, and to be frank with you, it makes me question how much of what Omnia says is actually true. When I know how blatantly they're lying about me, I question how blatantly they're lying about everyone else they've ever talked about before in their past. Anyone who was there when Omnia first alleged that Kai Weiss abused them will remember my support of them. I signal boosted Omnia's tweet about the situation and got it to as many eyes as possible so that Omnia could regain some of their Twitter following. I made a video defending them and presenting the evidence against Kai of domestic abuse. I publicly supported and promoted Omnia's fundraiser against Kai in hopes that they could make some money back to replace belongings that they alleged were stolen. And this is the part that I think drives my point home. Omnia knows that I spoke to them every single day, entertaining calls that lasted hours with them, and became friends with them following the allegations against Kai, and we would be constantly discussing Kai and the things Kai did in these chats, with me making it very vocal that I didn't support that, hearing out Omnia and everything that Kai claimed, and trying to get their side. So for them to state, where is this same energy for me? Why didn't any of y'all ask for my side? Is a blatant mistruth, and it's made entirely because Omnia wants to frame everyone as either on their side or supporting an abuser, as if this situation is completely black and white and there aren't valid reasons to hate both Omnia and Kai. I would like to note that I could, but I'm not going to, discuss some of the things I said to Omnia in private. I think Omnia will appreciate that I've done so, and it's because I'm choosing to give Omnia the benefit of the doubt here and hope that they've learned from the mistakes they made in our friendship. I hope I'm not wrong, but anyway.
You all want to champion yourselves as people who condemn abusers, but your behavior publicly and privately indicates nothing of the sort. As a matter of fact, your behavior demonstrates nothing but the fact that you condone abuse.
I think the worst mistake Omnia has made with this video is generalizing everyone they have some sort of issue with as y'all. Because I think it's apparent to anybody who has kept a single eye on this situation that my actions do not reflect that I condone abuse. And them implying as much is straight up slander. And this is where my problem lies. If Omnia directed this comment specifically at certain people, maybe I would be less opposed to it. But the fact it's been directed at me, knowing how blatantly untrue that is, makes this video fall apart at the seams, because it's just not true. I've made videos supporting Omnia's story. I've never made a video supporting Kai's story. I've signal boosted Omnia's tweets. I've never signal boosted any of Kai's. I've had private conversations where I became friendly with Omnia, and let them vent to me for hours on end about Kai. I never gave Kai the same treatment. I have clearly been biased towards giving Omnia more support than Kai in this situation. In fact, I would argue I've gave Kai no support at all. So arguing that I condone abuse is just straight up nonsense. And it's obvious that the way Omnia framed this is intentional. After I make this video, they can argue that this was a general statement and it wasn't directed at me and I'm reading too far into it, when that's obviously not the case, and the way they framed it was intentional, because to an audience who doesn't know much about the situation, they will hear what Omnia says here and presume that it also applies to me, meaning any of my criticism of Omnia is immediately erased, because now I'm siding with an abuser. I feel they did this because of my past videos where I called them out for stealing artwork and gatekeeping trauma. They want me to seem like I'm supporting an abuser because then my criticism of them holds less weight. It's a logical fallacy, it won't work in this situation, and I don't know what they thought they would gain from it.
And you know what? Since you all are so confident about publicly associating with the guy, I hope you feel really proud of yourselves for falling victim to a narcissistic smear campaign and simply listening to the loudest person in the room instead of waiting for the victim of his crimes to say anything tangible or produce anything to substantiate their claims. I'm unsure if it's because you're impatient or just hate me, but either way, a special and colossal you goes out to all y'all.
Omnia then ties me into further claims under the general group y'all, claiming that I'm publicly associating with Kai Weiss, saying I fell victim to a narcissistic smear campaign, saying I listened to the loudest person in the room instead of waiting for the victim of his crimes to say anything tangible or produce anything to substantiate those claims, and claiming that it's either because I'm impatient or just hate Omnia. These claims are specifically focused on my credibility. I'm presuming this was an attempt from Omnia to make it seem like I don't do my due diligence when researching situations. This is probably an attempt to make it seem like my prior criticism of Omnia holds less weight, because I can't be trusted to present information as it should be. Let's focus on what all of these comments have in common. I supposedly fell victim to a narcissistic smear campaign. This poses the idea that I didn't do enough research to actually understand the situation, and as such I fell victim to false information. I also supposedly only listened to the loudest person in the room instead of waiting for the victim to actually comment on the situation. This betrays even Omnia's own evidence, because the screenshot they present of me in Kai's live chat is me saying that I'm waiting for more evidence and not making a comment at this point, just looking for more context. That should immediately tell you that I am doing my due diligence and not just listening to the loudest voice in the room. But because in this scenario, the loudest voice in the room may be Omnia's voice, they don't like it, and as such, they are ignoring that fact. Furthermore, I supposedly did all of these heinous acts because I'm either impatient or hate Omnia. Either way, it would present me as a bad critic because I would be biased or otherwise sloppy in my research, and once again, this isn't true. All of this is a colossal leap in logic from me simply saying that I'm not making a comment and looking for more context in a live chat room. I don't think I've seen a leap this impressive since Mission Impossible. I'd argue that everything said here is disingenuous at best, and I struggle to believe that that isn't intentional. There is a laundry list of criticism presented towards Omnia that Omnia has never addressed properly, and I think this is Omnia's attempt to try and avoid all that criticism by making their critics seem like the bad ones in the situation who are only saying and doing what they're doing because they side with an abuser, and as such, they're all terrible people by proxy. This argument falls on its face, and I think saying as much is redundant at this point because anyone who actually knows this situation knows as much. But I digress.
And before you run to Twitter, don't hit my DMs with an apology. Save it. Maybe use that time you would have spent saying sorry to me privately on how you're going to explain this to the rest of your audience members now that this has been made public.
The fact that after saying all of those comments about me, Omnia thinks that they're the one owed an apology in this situation seems more like a joke than a serious statement. I do not believe I owe Omnia any kind of apology for not making a comment on a situation. I guess because my presence in a stream just means I'm guilty by association. But I do think they owe me an apology for representing me as a supporter of domestic abuse. Or rather, a condoner of domestic abuse. Because I know if I don't use the exact term they use, they'll try and argue that I'm misrepresenting what they said. I think what they said is a complete misrepresentation of my character, slander at best, and they really need to think twice before they post something like this. I understand that Omnia is struggling, and I'm completely supportive of them in their time of struggle, but that doesn't give them an excuse to hurt me and other people and make these claims that defame us publicly. It's not a get out of jail free card. But anyway, that leads us on to the Twitter altercation I had with Omnia following this video. I posted a tweet that reads as follows. This is, quote, defending Kai, according to Omnia. I won't stir up private drama, but Omnia knows they hurt me. This is obviously them looking for an excuse to villainize me. I won't entertain further discussion. Omnia needs to get themselves help. Quote, where was this same energy for me? I gave you that same energy. You literally thanked me for my support in the past. You blocked me, and now I can't get your side because you didn't want to apologize to Peaches. Even though, as we already know, you already wrote that apology out and showed me it in private. I don't want to leak private DMs unless I have no other choice. Omnia can reach out and talk to me in private if they so wish. And lo and behold, only a few hours later, from behind a block, Omnia would respond to my tweet. I never said that this was Harley defending Kai, and to put that in quotations is insane. Please drop the timestamp of where I say this, because all I said was, maybe don't ask for a convicted side in their public stream, HarleyTBS. Don't misrepresent the things I say. Private falling outs aside, if Harley wants to talk things out, my Discord is right there and they are unblocked. Private shit can stay private, but you should not lie about things I said publicly. I'd like to note that I'm willing to acknowledge some criticism here. I shouldn't have put defending Kai in quotes, because I was paraphrasing Omnia and, upon doing research, you're not supposed to specifically quote something if you're paraphrasing it. However, I still believe that saying that Omnia said I defended Kai is an accurate way to represent what they said about me. Within their video, they argue I do the absolute most to support Kai, but didn't give them the same energy or ask for their side. They also go on to argue in no uncertain terms that I condone abuse, and they argue that I fell victim to a narcissistic smear campaign and simply listened to the loudest person in the room instead of waiting to hear out the victim. I think Omnia believes that everyone but them is less intelligent than them and as such cannot understand what they're trying to imply here, but the implication is very clear. And I feel like saying everything but specifically the words that I'm defending Kai is enough for me to argue that that was what you were trying to say with the statements you made. Arguing that I condone abuse, did the absolute most to support him, and fell victim to only listening to his side, all are just other ways of saying that I defended Kai. That's what you said. I'd argue that just saying I condone abuse alone says that I defended Kai. In fact, I'd argue that saying I condone abuse is actually worse than saying I defended Kai. It's discussions like this that are the reason I don't like debating with Omnia, because everything turns into a debate of semantics. They argue that they didn't necessarily say something in the exact words you said they said it in, and then never actually respond to the point you were making. They get so focused on the fact they didn't necessarily use the same words as you, that they completely avoid actually discussing what they did say, which is arguably worse than the way you surmise it. They tiptoe around responding to the actual point because they know in doing so they'd have to acknowledge some kind of accountability for wrongdoing, and as such end up spewing a bunch of word vomit without actually saying anything of substance. My stance that Omnia is saying I defended Kai comes not only from the public statements they've made, but also private statements they made towards me in the past. In a private dispute with Omnia, they said I defended Kai, took his side, and victim blamed them. All of that was entirely untrue. They would then respond to that not by disputing the fact they were arguing I defended Kai, but by stating that I sided with an abuse, intentionally or unintentionally. So it's obvious they are saying I defended Kai, they're just now pussyfooting around it in the public's eye because they know that it doesn't look good for them. The way Omnia presented this situation publicly intentionally mischaracterized my actions, leading to some of Omnia's fans leaving comments on my videos saying things like, "Are you going to address the 5 videos worth of evidence Omnia gave to prove that you've been associating with and defending a convicted," if you're paraphrasing it, "no matter what they've done in the past, this is out of line." So not only did I get the impression Omnia was arguing I defended Kai, but so did Omnia's own audience, who also got the impression I was defending Kai. I feel like it's fair to argue you fell back into your own criticism of other content creators here. You became the loudest person in the room, and your audience fell victim to a narcissistic smear campaign. You are the person you're criticizing, and you need to acknowledge wrongdoing. But this laundry list of issues people have with Omnia just continues to get longer. Every time Omnia finds himself in controversy like this, they argue that everyone else is wrong and that they're not wrong in any capacity. Never once does Omnia acknowledge that maybe they are the one who fucked up. They look for someone else to blame, or they argue that they've been misrepresented or misunderstood. And it gets harder and harder to watch every single time. Hello, it's me from the future. Future TBS. Since I started work on this video, I reached out to Omnia and we had a private call that lasted over 2 hours, alongside a DM conversation that allowed us to understand the other person's perspective more. I did my best to lay out all of the issues I have with Omnia that I've expressed within this video so far, specifically surrounding the comments they made within their video and their later Twitter statement. I also brought up some of the reasons I cut ties with Omnia and highlighted my personal grievances with Omnia, talking about the ways they've hurt me and other people I know. And while I never heard them say they were sorry for a lot of their actions, nor do I believe they took all of my criticism on board, I do believe that they understand what my opinion is, and that we're more in tune with the other person's perspective now. Omnia offered to delete their tweets towards me, and they've since removed the section from their video which I had issues with. I appreciate that they've made the right steps to resolve this problem, and to minimize any more damage being caused by the comments they made. I know some people may believe that I shouldn't be happy with this resolution or that I should want more from Omnia, but if I'm completely honest with you, I don't enjoy having public discussions surrounding my private issues with someone. Irregardless of my status as a content creator, I shouldn't have to publicize my private disagreements with someone. I believe I'm entitled to my own private life, and I believe that any issues I have with Omnia I can express to them privately without having to make it a big public issue. But I do feel like it needs to be said that I have only resolved my private issues with Omnia here. I haven't resolved anyone else's, nor have I even touched on them as a subject. It is not my place to bring other people's issues into my conversation with Omnia, and it should be their place to resolve that with Omnia. I feel like it's a cliche to say this at this point, but I didn't want to make this video. Originally, the video you're watching right now was planned to be a tweet. It was going to be a 3 or 4 minute tweet where I responded to Omnia's video and got my opinion out there before speaking to Omnia on a call. But as this video got longer and longer, and I realized that I had more and more I needed to say about this situation, I felt it was only fair that I published this as a fully fledged video on my actual channel, considering Omnia's comments were made on their channel to their audience as well. With that being said, any clarifications I feel like I need to make will be added to the pinned comment, and with that being said, HarleyTBS from the future out. Bye guys. Thank you for watching. I've been HarleyTBS. Feel free to check out my Twitter where all of this situation took place so that you can keep updated before I make a video about something and you can hear my opinions on things that don't necessarily get made into a video. I didn't plan to make a video on this, but thinking back on how much I had to respond to surrounding what Omnia said, I thought it was best to just format it into a video and get it out there so that you guys get to hear my side unfiltered and get the actual truth behind the situation, because I feel like Omnia being able to get away with just deleting their tweets isn't fair, especially considering the kind of damage claims like these can do. Subscribe to the channel if you enjoy scathing commentary like this. I try to keep it upfront and honest with you without giving you any of the bullshit you can expect from other channels. Thank you to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring this video. Don't forget to use my link in the description down below or scan my QR code to get insane bonuses for new players and a free epic champion. And peace.